Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the previous video, we talked about sorting, that is, when and how to use it. So now, let's finally start with the simplest sorting algorithm, that is bubble sort. But today, we are not just learning how it works. We will also understand why bubble sort is slow and when it still makes sense to use it. So before directly jumping into the code, let's understand how it works. Imagine there are few students who are standing in a line randomly. Now I want them to stand in an order based on their heights, where the shortest one comes first and the tallest one goes last. So, to make this possible, I told them two steps. That is, look at your left one and compare the height. If that person is taller than you both guys should swap. So follow these rules until everyone is in the correct position. So if you observe here, after the first pass, we can see the tallest person is in the correct position, that is at the last. So from here, we can understand that at the end of every pass, the tallest person fits into their correct position. Let's say at the end of second pass, the second tallest person will be in its correct position. So that's what exactly the bubble sort also does. Bubble sort follows only simple rule. That is, look at the two neighboring numbers. If the left one is bigger, then swap them. So now let's take a small example. Here we have numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So starting with pass 0, now I am comparing the elements 5 and 4. 5 is greater than 4, so swap. And 5 and 3, 5 is greater, so swap. 5 and 2, 5 is greater, so swap. And again 5 and 1, 5 is greater, then swap. So if you see here, 5 came to its correct position. So being a last number. So now let's see how many comparisons we have made in this pass. So it is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it is 4 comparisons. So now let's go to pass 1. Now again we'll compare 4 and 3. We have to swap. And then 4 and 2 we have to swap. Again 4 and 1 we have to swap. Now if you see the second largest element, that is 4, came to its correct position. So the total number of comparisons here is 1, 2, 3. So now let's go to pass 2. So now again 3 and 2 greater, so swap. 3 and 1 is greater, so swap. Now if you see, now 3 came to its correct position. So the number of comparisons here is 2. Let's go to the pass number 3. So 2 and 1 it's greater, so we have to swap. Now if you see, 2 came to its correct position. So number of comparison here we have is only 1. So now if you see, the 1 is already is in correct position because that's the only last element. So after we have the second last element be in its correct position, we can assure that the last element will definitely be in its correct position. So this made us complete sorting, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are in correct order. And the number of passes here we have is 4, and number of comparisons, if you see, for iteration 0, like pass 0, 1, 2, 3, the number of comparisons would be 4, 3, 2, 1. So we can think of like this. So this takes our outer for loop where it runs for n minus 1 times, that is n is the number of elements, where this one is the inner for loop which is used for comparisons, and we will swap based on that condition. So 4, 3, 2, 1 is the number of comparisons that we are making inside that inner for loop. So 4 represents nothing but n minus 1, 3 represents n minus 1 minus 1, 2 represents n minus 1 minus 2, this one n minus 1 minus 3. So if you see here, this again nothing but the pass number, right? So we can just simplify that this inner for loop will run for n minus 1 minus I times. So now let's see the code. So here I have an array as an input 5142. Now as I said, the inner for loop, that means which is for the comparisons, will run for array of length minus 1 minus I times, and here is all about the, if the condition is satisfied, then we swap the two numbers, and the outer for loop represents the number of passes we have, that is n minus 1. So this is all about the code. So for now, the time complexity, if you see, this outer for loop will run for n minus 1 times, and this inner for loop, if you see, for the first pass we have almost made n minus 1 comparisons, right? So it gradually decreased while the passes have been increased. So at max we can take this also as n minus 1. So the total time complexity would be, we have to consider the greatest power, so big of n square. So from the code we can easily understand that bubble sort compares again and again and again, even if the array is almost sorted. So bubble sort still checks everything. For the large inputs, this means too many comparisons and too many swaps. That's why bubble sort has big of n square time complexity and becomes very slow. So now let's see the cases where bubble sort still makes some sense. That is when the input size is very small, you are learning sorting for the first time, or you want to understand how sorting works internally. We may not use bubble sort much in the coding, but it will definitely add to your sorting technique knowledge. So let's quickly summarize what we have learned in this video. Bubble sort is all about comparing its neighboring elements, swap if they are in the wrong order, biggest element moves to the end. It's one of the sorting technique which is very easy to understand, but sadly it is slow for the large inputs. So in the next video, we will all look at the selection sort. It's also very simple, but it thinks differently from the bubble sort. I hope this video really helped you in giving clear understanding about the bubble sort. Remember, learning algorithms is not about memorizing the code. It's more about understanding why they work. See you in the next video. Until then, happy coding. Thank you.